we really split the difference between the changes that have happened in the tax slab, primarily we're seeing that the 3 to 6 lakh income, it's now expanded to 3 to 7, and the ones that used to be before, 6 to 9, who used to earlier attract a different rate, it's become 7 to 10. This is for the 10%. So really in those two slabs only we're seeing a particular change. Considering that until 7 lakh, there was already a rebate in place. Doesn't this change only perhaps benefit that small percentage who earn 9 lakh to 10 lakh per annum?
No, absolutely not. Any change that is brought in the lower tax slab, let me clarify to you and to your audience, it impacts everyone beyond that tax slab. So if there is an increase in the slab from 3-6 to 3-7 lakh, this benefits everyone who's having an income beyond 7 lakh, 8 lakh, 9 lakh and onwards. So everyone stands to benefit. Whereas, if we had increased or changed the slabs at higher slabs, tax slabs, then that would not have benefited those who are in the lower tax slabs. So everyone having an income of more than 7 lakh, because 7 lakh till 7 lakh, in any case it is exempt because of the rebate that is given, stands to benefit depending on what his income level is. So even a person having a salary of or an income of 15 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees, 11, 12, 13, everyone stands to gain depending on the income that he has. And the finance minister had announced that the maximum relief is 17,500 rupees for those having an income of more than 15 lakh rupees and are salaried.
Right. Mr. Nageshwaran, you did speak about jobs yesterday. 78 lakh jobs need to be created for us to reach the vision of Viksit Bharat. How will benefits of first-timers and contributions to the EPFO actually aid in job creation?
No, actually, the job creation agenda in this budget has been extremely comprehensive, and it is not just this one particular scheme you're referring to. There are about 5 schemes, all of which indirectly and directly add to the employment potential and employment generation potential. See, the thing is, when you hire a first-timer, he or she will take some time to settle down into the job, and their productivity will be relatively low. And naturally, therefore, the productivity-adjusted wages in the initial months will be the highest. Yeah. But by agreeing to subsidize the first month wages up to 15,000 rupees spread over 3 installments, with also an additional condition of creating financial literacy there, the government is basically absorbing the cost of the adjustment of the employee into the workforce by paying the salary of the first month up to 15,000 rupees. And there is also an incentive given for bulk job creation, which is in Scheme C. Right. And then there is Scheme B, which talks specifically about manufacturing job creation. And all of these things are actually, and together with the internship scheme, and then to the hub and spoke model for ITIs. So all of them collectively are very likely to create a significant jump in employment generation in the economy in the coming years.
Right.
If I may just add to him, actually the benefit in Scheme B for the manufacturing sector, with certain conditions of course, the benefit is much more. It is to the extent of 2,16,000 rupees. So if you add the 15,000 rupees in Scheme A and the 2,16,000 rupees in the Scheme B, the total amount that the government is willing for new employment in manufacturing sector can go up to 2,31,000 rupees per new employment, which speaks about the government's commitment towards aiding and promoting new employment.
Absolutely. Mr. Malhotra, also there were measures to boost consumption that used to be really widely discussed in the run-up to the budget. Do you think the budget actually adequately addresses all of that?
Yeah, so we are leaving, as I said, much more on the tax side, by reducing the personal income tax rates on the new tax regime. We are leaving much more in the hands of the taxpayers, of the consumers, and that will certainly help boost consumption. And
consumption growth also comes from the employment generation. I mean, more people find jobs, more income growth happens, and consumption growth happens. So apart from the lower tax rates in the new regime and the higher standard deduction, the employment generation is a very direct boost to incomes and therefore to consumption.
Sir, if I may, this question, it actually follows what was also spoken yesterday at the economic survey, one on being, speculative trading being a concern. And this has been something that regulators have also raised. This conversation comes from different quarters too. And today we see subsequently the STT on FNO also being introduced. Now, just on, does this adequately address that concern, this particular move? And also, in terms of the indexation benefit, the year has been set at 2001. So could we get a clarity on that particular date and why that's so? Two questions.
Yeah, so actually, two questions. First question, on STT. This is more, of, I'm not sure, whether this will adequately address the concerns on F&O. Personally, I don't think so. But I do believe that this is something which we should not really be promoting, and so it is keeping this in mind, that we have actually increased the STT rates on something which we don't feel is good for the economy, something which is good for the capital markets beyond a point. And so, because it is really actually, speculative. Of course, there are other measures which can be taken. We'll be happy if this actually results in reduced F&O activity, which may or may not happen. Coming to your second question on indexation for real estate, gold, and some other asset classes. The rate presently is or was till yesterday 20% with indexation. We have now reduced it to 12.5% without indexation. However, as I had clarified even in the press conference, the indexation benefit till 2001 shall continue, which means that if a property was bought before 2001, and if it is sold later on after 2001, the price of that particular property when it was bought, or the price with indexation in the year 2001,
Okay.
whichever is lower, the price as it exists in 2001, or that cost acquired, prior to 2001 with indexation, whichever is lower. So it gets the benefit of indexation till 2001. However, after that, whatever is the increase in the value of the property, that will be taxed at 12.5% flat without any benefit of indexation after 2001.
So before we let you go, another broad theme that we saw in the budget speech with respect to taxation is rather an attempt at a comprehensive review, be it for GST, be it for custom duties, some of which were also announced, and also, of course, for the IT, there's also a comprehensive review. Now, if we look at it in another 6 months, perhaps another roadmap is also likely to come. Just in that particular sense, what can we expect when we say this comprehensive review, and on what level would it be attempted?
See, this has been a continuous affair, as you are aware, and as you have been witnessing in the various finance acts, or even otherwise through the amendments in the rules. We want to make life easy for our taxpayers, for our industry and trade. So whether it is the rollout of GST, which happened in 2017, bringing down the compliance burden, reducing the logistics costs, etc., or whether it is in customs duties, where last budget we decreased the number of tax rates. So this is actually work in progress. What we can expect, and this budget again, you saw a lot of measures for simplification. We believe that if we can make life simpler from taxation perspective, whether in direct taxes or indirect taxes, that should yield good dividends both for the industry, because they are certain about what taxes they have to pay, and as well for the government, because that actually results in tax getting paid, revenue getting generated, rather than demands getting created and embroiled, in various litigation. So going forward, a 6 months time frame has been set, both for customs duty rationalization as well as for income tax act review. We will try to simplify the law. There are a number of exceptions, number of provisions which are spread across various chapters and sections. There are a number of procedural things in the substantive law. There are a number of provisions which are now perhaps obsolete, redundant, some of them, which may not be needed as on date.
Right.
And so we will have a comprehensive review of all those provisions to make it easy for the common man to be able to read it, to be able to comprehend it, and to be able to implement it.
That's
So,
very interesting. Coming to something that we were discussing, the question of jobs, because that clearly was the underlying theme of this budget. So there is the sense that, when the Prime Minister says that the first job will be given by the government to a large part of the youth, there's a deep political messaging in there. But there's also a sense that it also will lead to formalization of the economy. Are we doing enough for the unorganized sector? Would you like to take that?
No, actually, you can't say that this is not enough for the informal sector. This is exactly an incentive for the enterprises to become formal. So when you are actually helping the informal sector to move toward to become part of the formal sector. So that is actually a support and a massive assistance being given to the informal sector. And secondly, if assuming your question is right, and if you are boosting the formal sector, it is always the case that the formal sector's growth does spill over into the informal sector demand as well. So in both ways, both directly and indirectly, it is a benefit to the informal sector as well.
Okay, sir.
If I may also want to, one of the nitty-gritties was that, in terms of the scope of the safe harbor rules, they would be expanded was one of the announcements that was made. Could we get some clarity in terms of where this would be headed?
No time frame has been given, but we would like to do it as early as possible. I think you are mentioning about the safe harbor rules for raw diamonds sold by the foreign mining companies when they come here in India. So you are aware that we have allowed them to display those diamonds, but because of certain complexities of our tax laws, they display them here, but they are then actually sold to Indian companies abroad. So we want to shift that trade to India, and you have seen a number of measures in this regard. Diamonds is only one of them. There was another which pertained to shipping, foreign shipping lines, again because there is an apprehension in their minds about taxation with respect to a number of entities which are actually involved. There is not one shipping company, but they have a very complex structure, because of which it can lead to it can lead to taxation on those multiple entities, which not only creates uncertainty but can also lead to very high taxation. So we are now providing a very simple rule in the form of that's also a kind of a safe harbor, a presumptive taxation which is being given to them. The effort really is to promote investment and employment in our country wherever there is scope. So whether it is reduction in duties or simplifying tax rates, it is all about investments and employment. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And that's all we have time for. Thank you so very much for joining us, sir.
Pleasure.
This was Revenue Secretary Sanjay Malhotra, sir, and Chief Economic Advisor, Mr. Anant Nageshwaran. Stay tuned to NDTV Profit and NDTV 24/7 as we bring you conversations with more budget architects.